represents the money that's being thrown out the window by business owners not realizing it. On the back is a QR code if you want to get to my website or our website. Thank you. What do I press before? This one?
Before. This is the first one.
Yeah.
This is the first?
Yeah. So I press this.
Forward. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This one. The smaller one. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
very good.
Good. Sorry.
Wow. This is the first time I've seen so many people at a Copies Connections. This is awesome. And a tribute to the Chamber and the great success that they're having with this group. I'm Werner Duever. A little background on myself. I'm married to this lovely lady right here for 19 years now, and 20 next year. We love traveling, dancing, and martial arts. I've been with the London Chamber of Commerce since 2009. In a couple of years, I'm going to get my 25-year pin, maybe. I've been in a number of careers over my life. I've been a design engineer. I've been an insurance agent, investment representative with Canada Life. I joined Schooley Mitchell last year. And I was just thinking before this presentation, there's some commonality here. There's numbers involved. And I love numbers. I love spreadsheets. I'm also a dance instructor, so I've had the London, Ontario wedding dance. This is a side business I've had for a number of years, helping couples with their wedding dance performance. I've worked with about 20 couples. Put some hair on your chest, gray hair on your chest. So what I'm here to talk to you today about is saving money for businesses on their operational expenses. So this is below the gross margin profit line, okay? What we do is we save money, we help reduce costs, and we improve the operations. Because of the experience of Schooley Mitchell, they have a lot of knowledge about vendors and what vendors can do for businesses. And they don't get compensated by the vendors, they get compensated by the savings that we find for the businesses, okay? So we're cost reduction experts. All files are strictly confidential unless authorized. We're the largest independent cost reduction firm in North America, and we have 250 plus local consultants operating local offices. So far, and it's probably more than this, Schooley Mitchell franchises, which I'm part of one, which is based in Port Stanley, have saved over $1 billion for companies. It's very significant for 30,000 plus clients in Canada and the United States. And we maintain relationships with the vendors to enhance service and pricing, and vendors change over time. And so we constantly find the best vendors for our business owners. On the average, we save close to 30% for clients, on the average. 30%, that's pretty significant. And 8 to 10 times, you don't have to change the vendor. So they stay with the same vendor. You just slap their hand and say, no, you're charging too much. So at Schooley Mitchell, we are cost reduction experts. We help with savings, which increase profits, and we provide service as well. So we give recommendations on the operation, the expenses for them. Maybe they need to change something with their vendor, okay? And we give some recommendations on that. We cover 14 different categories. For example, telecom, merchant services, small packaging, waste, electronic logging, okay? And together these expenses represent about 20 to 30% of the operational budget for a business. And we're always researching and developing new ways to reduce costs. So for a business currency, they represent money, time, security, and knowledge. And we help in all those areas. For example, with money, we analyze your expenses for billing errors and contractual terms and fees, and then make recommendations to lower the cost based on the existing services and business needs. We also save time. So we do the auditing. You don't have to get anybody, you have to get an outside firm to help you. We help with the auditing of your vendors, okay? Security, again, like I mentioned, everything is confidential, and we've become very knowledgeable. Schooley Mitchell's been around since 1998. And Schooley and Mitchell represent two individuals who started the business. So we do two things. We create savings and we deliver ongoing value. Okay, we establish a baseline. So first I meet with a business owner. I present what we can do for the business. If they like what we do, or want to go forward and learn what kind of savings they can have, we sign a service agreement. And then they provide invoices, okay? And then our audit team back in Stratford, they analyze the invoices and they come up with a value report, which I go to the client and present. That takes about 4 to 8 weeks on the average. Some businesses are longer because they're bigger, multi-locations and so on. When they sign the service agreement, we go forward and they like the recommendations, they put them in place, then we get compensated. Okay, that's only the time we get compensated. We don't get money from the vendors who we recommend. It's only when we find savings for the business. And that's a 36-month ongoing relationship. If they want to extend it, we can go further. What's in it for you? Complimentary operating expense audit. Okay? There's no budget or staffing increase required. We manage service agreement for 3 years, like I mentioned. Self-funded fees for the savings created, and we improve the bottom line results for your business. And there's monthly and quarterly tracking. You take no risk. Okay, we either save you money and self-fund our fees or give you a no-cost validation of your existing services. And I just worked with a business, a nonprofit recently, and we found that one category they're good. So, but I will present that to them as a good report and a positive thing, so they know they're on track with their expenses. Found money. So like this bill that's been passed around, oh my gosh, it's already passed around. Everybody's seen it? Wow, that was quick. Our analysis is completely entirely on a contingency basis. So only when we find money is when we get compensated, okay? And fees are self-funded, like I mentioned. We share in 50-50 savings. So if we find savings, 50% comes to Schooley Mitchell. We get a portion, our franchise get a portion of that, and 50% stays with the business. After the 36 months, they keep the full 100%. In the process of this, we also analyze on a monthly or quarterly basis their invoices. So if the vendor is starting to creep the price up, we again slap the hand and say, no, you're not doing the right thing here, okay? What we investigate for your business. So for example, telecom. We look at the errors in the invoices. We look for over-provisioning is common with telecom. We review multitudes of vendors and we track them, even the ones you don't use. And we look at changing options almost monthly. You need to stay on top of it, okay? And that's not the business's job, that's our job. We look at bundling or unbundling. Price creep is common in the telecom industry. You might have experienced it in your own life with your bills and your internet and phone. I know I have. In confusion, there's opportunity. For small packaging, we look at distance, zone to zone, how quickly, many options, 9 a.m., 1 day, 2 day ground, actual weight or dimensional versus dimensional weight, how frequent to similar destinations, fuel surcharges, accessories, and pricing book is an inch thick, and we help with that. And for waste, waste is a big one. And I'm not going to mention certain companies that overcharge, but there are some mean ones out there. So the distance to the landfill or disposal site, these are all the things that we look at for the vendor. They maybe don't think about these things, okay? Distance to the standard routes for vendors. Size of the bin, many options there. Frequency of removal, optimal usage of bin. Waste streams, what's in the bin. And the tonnage, fuel surcharge, land fees. I had to eliminate a few pointers here, because, just to keep it on the slide, but there's other areas that we look at. In confusion, there's opportunity. Pricing is not transparent. Contracts are complex. And minimums, auto renewals, ETFs, surcharges, and fees. Errors are prevalent. If we find an error in the invoice, we let the business owner know, and that's a freebie. Resources are limited, yet there's gold in those bills, like the flaming dollar bill. So, I meet with a client, and these are the steps to savings. And I think I mentioned it earlier. There's a service agreement we sign. There's a letter of authorization, so they give us permission to get the invoices from the client, so we directly work with the vendor. I'll let that. Access to data, and we do a needs analysis, and again, 4 to 6 weeks to review the recommendations. Total commitment is under 2 hours for a business owner, on the average, for what could be a significant cost reduction and long-term time saving. And this is just an example of one contractor. Can't mention who. We have to keep it confidential unless they give us a testimony. So for example, we looked at telecom for this client, okay, a large contractor. We found out what their baseline annual expense was for 2 types of wireless, and then waste disposal, and the total came to about $279,000. Schooley Mitchell found a savings or expenses that should have been $195,000 and change. So the total annual savings was $83,000. That's an average savings of 29.81%. So what can you do to improve 1% of your business today? Would you be happy with 1% off your mortgage? If you're a mortgage provider, reduce their mortgage by 1%. Would you be happy with an extra % of savings when you go to the grocery store? I think we all would be. So we can provide a much more than 1% to business owners. Questions?
So,
Thank you.
I'm Victor from Pillar Nonprofit Network. I think this is amazing.
Thank you.
But I'm looking at it from more like in a long-term sustainability. Like, do you also train the businesses with the resources and tools to monitor when the prices go up or down, or do you just do it for them, and that at the end of 3 years you go away and come back later? So how does it work?
So that's a very good question. So what I'm understanding is the question is, does Schooley Mitchell help businesses understand how the vendor works?
Yes.
with their charging? I think it's something that they discover over the process when Schooley Mitchell works with them. We do it for them over the period of the service agreement. After that, it's their decision to continue working with us. So I hope that answers your question. Anybody else? Oh, sorry.
Right here.
Right here.
I think it's worth
Right here.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Is it recurring, or is it just on an annualized basis? Like, because like some of those savings are annualized, like you put there, and some of them might even be like only gonna happen this year. It's a capex or something. How do you guys look at that?
So we, it varies between the business owners. For example, right now we looked at a waste company, and they're spending. Actually, we discovered their waste. Fast food company spending waste over $4,000 a month, more than they should. Now the contract is coming up next year, so we're gonna have to wait till then. They're gonna have to wait till then, unless they get charges for canceling early. But yeah, so it depends on the business.
I'm asking, so not if the savings are recurring, because I assume they are.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you're getting compensated on something that's a reoccurring expense, but you get compensated as part of the savings. So do you get, if you save them $4,000 a month for life, do you get a percentage of that for life, or how does that work?
It's only for the length of the service agreement,
Okay.
so we get a percentage of like 50-50. We share in that cost, so it would be $2,000, and then our franchise gets a portion of that. Schooley Mitchell gets some for doing the value reports and analyzing the invoices and so on.
And the one-side agreement's over, and the savings are all theirs.
Yes. It's all theirs, unless they continue to work with us.
To keep saving the money.
Keep saving the money.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yes?
I'm really, and just to build on the conversation, I really love that idea of like getting paid for results. I
Yeah.
think that really suggests there's a strong business here.
Mhm.
But how do you track it? I mean, I know you can show, all right, well, we've been able to save you 50% on your telecom bill, and we know that will sort of multiply by 36 months, but is there an element of sort of, you know, is it an honor-based system? Like if they have more savings eventually, does the amount that your company's paid increase? Or like how do you track it for 3 years, what their savings are? Or is it a projection you make at one point in time and then project it forward?
Thank you for the question. So they analyze the invoices, okay, Schooley Mitchell with their software back at the Stratford office. So they determine what should be spent, like that chart I showed you. And then that's the savings in comparison to what they are paying right now. So that savings can change over time because the vendor may want to creep the price up a bit, so, or maybe they change the service. Okay, so all these things can be analyzed as over the period of the service agreement, so that these things can change over time. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. I'm also curious if, like after 1 year, you go check in and see, oh, how much did you save at this point? Are you updating the savings numbers as you go? Or
Yes.
is it, yeah, interesting.
That's, to my knowledge, they are doing that. They're constantly reviewing the invoices for the client, for the business owner. Yeah. Any other questions?